Hello and welcome to this lecture, and from this lecture onwards we are going to start creating the recycler view in our menu activity. So we are actually into our menu activity right now, and now let's go ahead and start creating the recycler view over here. So we will go ahead, create a variable for recycler view. That's going to be recycler view, and that's going to be called as, let's say, m food list, as this is going to be a food list. And let's also get a reference to the database because we want to extract values from the database. So m database reference, let's say m database, and after that let's go ahead and get a reference to the Firebase auth as well. So Firebase auth, let's name it as mauth, and after that let's create mauth listener. So that's going to be private Firebase auth dot auth state listener, which is the auth state listener, which allows the user to go ahead and access the activity only when the user is authorized. So that's going to be auth state listener mauth listener. So once this thing is done, let's go ahead and get a reference to the recycler view itself. So in the onCreate we type mFoodList dot equals, typecast it to recycler view, and here what we will do is that we'll type in find view by id r.id dot, and we will specify the recycler view id over here. Now currently we don't have any recycler view over here, but so what we need to first do is that we need to go to the activity, which is the menu activity, and in here you need to go ahead and create a recycler view. So in this relative layout, let's create a recycler view, and let's set it to match parent and match parent. So it means that it fills up the entire thing, and as you could see we have margins from each of these sides. So in order to remove that, you simply need to get rid of this code over here. So once that thing is done, I guess we are good to go, and I don't know why this issue actually exists. I might have deleted some important thing. Okay, so let me just go ahead and delete this, which is the padding and the margin. And yeah, the reason why we are getting this is because we have not set up the ID for the recycler view. So let's say that is going to be @ plus ID, and let's name this recycler view as let's say food rec, or let's say we name it food list. So food list is the name or the ID of this recycler view. And what we will do now is that we will go to the menu activity again, and that's going to be food list as a reference to the recycler view. Then what we will do is that we will set mFoodList dot has fixed size, and we will set this thing equal to true, stating that this thing is going to have a fixed size, and this should actually be set has fixed size. So we have set over here, and the H should be in capitals. So once we are done with this, let's also set the layout manager. So mFoodList dot let's say set layout manager new linear layout manager, and let's pass in this over here. So once it is done, let's go ahead and get a reference to the database as well. So m database equals Firebase database dot get instance dot get reference dot child, and we are looking for a child in order to extract the value. So we are essentially looking at this item child over here. So you need to add item over here so that we are basically targeting that particular route. So once this thing is done, we are good to go. Now what we will do is that we will get a reference to the mauth. So we'll type mauth equals Firebase auth dot get instance, and then we will add an mauth listener equals new Firebase auth dot auth state listener. Now what we will do here is that if the user is actually not logged in into the system, we want to redirect the user to the login activity. So what we will do here is that we will first check if the current user is present or not. So we will check for the absence of user. So we will type if Firebase auth dot get current user. So if the current user is null, which means that the user is not logged in, then we want to start an intent, which is going to be the login intent, which is going to be new intent, refer to the current activity, which is menu activity. So menu activity dot this comma, and we want to redirect him to the main activity, which is the sign up activity if he is not registered or if he is not logged in. So we will type in main activity dot class, and after that what we will do is that we will start the login intent. So even before starting this intent, what we want to make sure is that the user should not be able to hit the back button and come back to this activity. So for that, we are going to add flags to this intent. So login intent dot add flags, that's going to be intent dot flag activity clear task, and after that we will start activity for the login intent itself, and after that we are good to go. So once this thing is done, this thing ensures that no unauthorized users should be able to access the menu activity. So after that, what we will do is that we will create an onStart method of this class over here, and we are going to set in the Firebase adapter over here. So the first thing which we do is that we get a reference to the auth state. So mauth dot auth state listener, or add auth state listener, that's going to be mauth listener, and after that we will go ahead and we will create the Firebase recycler adapter. So this is going to be Firebase recycler adapter, and I guess even before you create the Firebase recycler adapter, you do need to add the dependency for the Firebase CUI. So I'm actually going to pause this video and I'm going to paste the dependency over here and return back soon. Okay, so to add in the Firebase dependency, you need to go to the Gradle scripts, you need to go to this file, and right here you paste this line of code, which is nothing but com.firebase_ui Firebase UI database 0.4.4. So this is the dependency which we want, and after that you simply need to click on sync now, and hopefully we should be good to go. So after that we will get back to the menu activity, and here we'll start creating the Firebase recycler adapter, and I guess we should be able to add it by now. So Firebase recycler adapter, and that's going to be having the reference to the food class which we have created, and let's create a holder which is going to be called as food view holder, and we have not created this yet, but we will create it soon. So after that, let's go ahead and type in FBRA as Firebase recycler adapter equals new Firebase recycler adapter, and here we have a few methods, and here we have a method added for us, so make sure to have a semicolon over here. And after that, what we will do is that we will go ahead and create the food view holder class first, so that we don't have this error. So here I am going to type in public static class, that's going to be food view holder, and this is going to extend the recycler view dot view holder class. And after that, what we will do is that we will basically check for this error, and let's see what this thing says. So it says create a constructor, so simply click this and the constructor will be added for you. Now here what we will do is that we will create a separate variable for a view, so that's going to be view mview, and here we will set mview equals item view. Okay, so once this thing is done, let's go ahead and set the methods for this particular view holder. So in the same class, what we will do is that we will set a method to set the name, price, description, and the image of the Firebase recycler view adapter. So first one is going to be public void set name. This is going to accept name, so string name over here. This one is for name, and we are going to do the same thing for each and every one. So I'm going to copy this, and the next one is going to be for the price, the next one is going to be for description, and the final one for image. So I'm going to change this to set description. This is going to have DESC. This one is going to be for set price. This one is price, and this one is for set image. And for this image, we are actually going to pass in the context. So context ctx comma string, and the string is going to be an image over here. So once this thing is done, what we will do is that we will basically get a reference to the text view, which is the food name, price, description, and image. So for that, you need to go to the single menus XML code over here, and this is what we are actually looking at. So what we need to do is that we need to make sure that we have IDs over here. So this is actually food image, this is food name. So now let's go ahead, go here and get a reference to those text views. So that's going to be text view food underscore name. This is going to be equal to text view, that's going to be mview dot find view by id, r dot id dot, that's going to be food name. And then what we do is that we take the food name text view and we set the text to name over here. So for the other cases as well, we are going to do the same. So I'm going to copy this and paste it over here and over here. So we will change this food name to, let's say, food description, and this thing should have something like food description. So that should be food description over here. This should be changed to food description and change this to description. And this one is going to be equal to price, and this is food underscore price. This one is going to change to, this should actually be price, but I don't know if we have set the ID for that. So let's quickly go ahead, and this is our price right here, and we have not set an ID for it. So that should be @ID food price, and we are good to go. So let's get back here, and this thing should actually be food price. Set this thing equal to food price, and the final thing to price. And for the image, what we are going to do is that we are going to go ahead and create an image view. So that's going to be image view, not image button. So image view, let's name it as food image equals typecast it to image view. And after that, let's type mview dot find view by id, r dot id dot, that's going to be food image. So once this thing is done, the next thing which you need to do is that you need to go ahead and set the image as well. So for setting up image, you also need the Picasso dependency. So I'm going to again pause this video and add up a Picasso dependency for this, and then we are actually going to set up an image. Okay, so in order to add up the Picasso dependency, go to the Gradle file, and this is the line of code which you want to add for the Picasso dependency. So after that, simply click the sync now button, and we should be good to go. So after adding the Picasso dependency, we are almost done setting up the Firebase recycle adapter. So okay, let me go here, and let me just type in Picasso dot width, and here you need to pass in the context. Dot load, here you need to pass in the image, and dot into, and you need to pass in the food image over here. So once this thing is done, we are good to go. So this thing right here is nothing but the image view into which we want to load an image, and the image is the actual thing which we want to load into this thing right here. So once this thing is done, let's go back to the onStart method right over here. So in this onStart method, as you could see, we have created the Firebase recycle adapter, and over here in this parameter section, you need to pass in a few things. So the first thing which you need to pass is going to be the food class, which is food.class over here, give a comma, and then you need to pass in the layout for the single item which you have created. So that's going to be r.layout. And that's going to be single menu item. So once you have passed this thing in, the final thing which you need to do is that you also need to pass in the food view holder class which we have created right now. So we pass it in over here, and the final thing is the database reference itself. So that's going to be mDatabase. And the next thing which you do is that in the populate view holder method, you actually populate the view, which is nothing but this view, which is the single view activity. So here what we will do is that we will set the view holder. So we'll type in view holder dot set name for name, and that's going to be model dot get name. Then we will also set up the price and description. So view holder dot set price, and that's going to be model dot get price. So this get name, set name, get price methods are the methods which we are getting from the food class. So then that's going to be view holder dot set image, or let's say set description. So set description, that's going to be model dot get description, and the final one is view holder dot get, I guess, set image, and that's going to be model dot get image. And actually for this, what we need to do is that we need to pass in an additional parameter. So first we will get the context as well. So that's going to be get application context comma model dot get image. So once this thing is done, the final thing which is left to do is that you need to set the mFood list, which is nothing but the recycler view, to this adapter. So we'll type .set adapter and Firebase recycler adapter, which is FBRA, which we have named right over here. So once this thing is done, we are good to go. So in the next lecture, we will be running this application and we will see how it works. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.